Okay, let's see if this movie makes it worth saying cowabunga! Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows, directed by Dave Green, produced by Michael Bay, and I'm not excited about that last part. Now, I am a big fan of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I enjoyed watching the original cartoon when I was a kid. I really did like the 1990 movie, and I do like the Secret of the Ooze sequel. So when I heard that Michael Bay was going to do a reboot of the Turtles, and when it came out in 2014, I was not excited at all because of his record with the Transformers. All the Transformer films are horrible. And I was expecting this movie, the 2014 movie, to be bad too. And when I heard that Megan Fox was going to be cast as April O'Neil, a woman that has no acting talent and is totally there for sex appeal, just like she was used during the first 3 Transformers films, I was not excited about that at all. And she was terrible in the movie. And of course, the center of attention, the Turtles were turned into supporting characters. And Splinter with the Fu Manchu mustache, Shredder was turned into a supporting villain more so than the main villain, because the guy that they had as the main villain, they really wanted to use as the Shredder. But the internet didn't want that because Shredder's supposed to be a Japanese guy. So the Japanese guy they got felt so faceless and so phony. And pretty much the movie was just a big green pile of garbage, really. I didn't really like the movie at all, except for the scene in the elevator where the Turtles were doing a rap. That was the only time where they actually felt like the tone of the cartoon. So now this movie comes out 2 years later, the sequel, Out of the Shadows. And I have to say, I do kind of like it. I actually like this movie, even though it's being very well criticized by the critics. A lot of the critics on the internet don't like this movie, and I have to be one of the few critics to actually say I like this movie. The plot of this movie, the Shredder is being broken out of prison during a transport from one prison to another. The Turtles try to prevent this breakout, but they fail. And the Shredder gets transported to Dimension X, where he meets up with the alien brain Krang, being voiced by Brad Garrett. And Shredder is being played by Brian T. now in this movie. The Shredder is being given a canister of mutagen to use to help defeat the Turtles. So he mutates these 2 fugitives that escaped with him, named Bebop and Rocksteady, into a half-human, half-rhino hybrid and a half-human, half-warthog hybrid. These 2 guys are being played by Sheamus, a WWE wrestler, plays Rocksteady, and Gary Anthony Williams plays Bebop. They're being mutated by Shredder's scientist, Baxter Stockman, who's played by Tyler Perry of all people, who I don't really think is that great of an actor, but in this movie he was actually pretty good. He played his role very cartoony and very enjoyable. You could tell he was having fun with the role. And there's this YouTuber on the internet named Andre the Black Nerd, who is a big Turtles fan, and when I see Tyler Perry portraying Baxter Stockman, he's acting very much like Andre the Black Nerd. It's just hilarious. It almost feels like that he was being told to act like Andre the Black Nerd. That's just funny. The 2 actors that they got to play Bebop and Rocksteady are awesome in this movie, and they really do a good job portraying the characters and the transformation that they go through to look like their mutated selves. It looks really cool. I really like the way the purple mohawk and the glasses look on Bebop. That looks awesome, and Rocksteady looks really good. The Turtles in this movie actually feel a little bit more like the Turtles. In the previous film, the Turtles really didn't feel very much like the way the Turtles should feel. Leonardo is the leader of the group, who's very much the Boy Scout. Raphael is the muscle-bound loner. Michelangelo the pizza lover party guy, and then you have Donatello, who's the brains of the group, and Donatello looks so stupid with the glasses. It makes him look like a cross between Steve Urkel and Ray Stantz from the Ghostbusters in turtle form. It's just really silly, but at this moment, I've kind of gotten used to it, and I feel like getting mad about it now is just repeating myself, and with all the anger I had seeing him the first time in 2014, it's just, now I'll just go with it and not get too mad about it this time. Megan Fox is okay as April O'Neil, just as Megan Fox could be, being the sex object that she is. She has really no acting talent, and of course there's this one scene where she goes from the disguise of looking like the April O'Neil from the cartoon to getting in an all sexy outfit later on. It's just so stupid and silly. I hated it, but I just went along with it anyway, because that's a Michael Bayism. And you have Stephen Amell, who plays Casey Jones in this movie. He played the Green Arrow in the CW TV show. Now, Stephen Amell is great as the Green Arrow. He's very good for that character. But as Casey Jones, he is totally miscast. He doesn't feel at all like the street punk Casey Jones should be. The original actor that played Casey Jones in the 1990 movie, Elias Koteas, was awesome as the character. In fact, since he was an unknown actor, he didn't feel like an actor playing Casey Jones. He felt like Casey Jones. And I was hoping they could get an actor that could do the same thing now. In fact, there is an actor out there that could do that role and could feel like Casey Jones. His name is Norman Reedus from The Walking Dead. Why don't you get him to play the role instead? Oh no, let's just get a good-looking guy from CW to play to the Geek Factor as Casey Jones, even though he doesn't feel at all like Casey Jones. He doesn't have that much chemistry with Megan Fox for the romantic parts. Let's just put him in there instead. And there's really not much point where it feels any real connection to the Turtles. And as far as his role to the plot, he is kind of like the new eyes to seeing the Turtles for the first time, which services those of us who didn't see the 2014 movie. Tony Shalhoub voicing Splinter this time around again, just like he did in the first movie. I have gotten used to it, just like I've gotten used to April O'Neil being played by Megan Fox. I don't like hearing Tony Shalhoub's voice coming out of Splinter's mouth. I kind of wish it was somebody like Peter Dinklage's voice coming out of Splinter's mouth instead. That would have been much nicer because it would have fit the character a bit better. But at the same time, he does an okay job. I mean, he's actually being a mentor to at least one of the Turtles, Leonardo. It would have been nice to see him be a mentor to the other three Turtles as well, Raphael, Donatello, and Michelangelo. But at least he's a mentor to Leonardo. Brad Garrett, I thought, did a pretty good job as Krang. A lot of the critics really didn't like the way Krang was portrayed, being so obnoxious, and the way he acts in this movie. But to me, the way Krang is in the cartoon, he sounds like this. He's in the original cartoon. And in the recent cartoon, he's being voiced by Gilbert Godfrey. So I think neither one of those two voices would have worked in this movie. I don't think it would have felt right. So the Krang that we get is actually okay. I kind of enjoyed the Krang that we got. Is it perfect? Is it the way I would like to hear Krang? No, but it's an okay version of Krang. I liked it, and I thought his robotic body looked pretty cool too. The Turtle Van. The Turtles are driving their famous Turtle Van from the cartoon that was a toy back in the 1980s, and I'm sure it's a toy again now. Shooting manhole covers and everything, and it's awesome. I actually really liked seeing the Turtle Van, although I wish I saw more of it. That one scene you see in the trailer of the Turtle Van, that's pretty much what you see in the movie, although it's a bit more extended in the movie. It would have been nice to see the Turtle Van a bit more in this film, but at least we get to see it once in the film. So overall, I enjoyed myself watching this film. There are some bad parts to this film, there are some flaws, but at the same time, I thought it was a pretty enjoyable movie, and it's not a movie I would throw on the worst list. However, when you take in the flaws of this new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie, like the fact that they waste the Shredder in the movie, the Shredder doesn't even get a good fight scene in the film, and the fact that there are some plot holes in the movie, and the bad acting from Stephen Amell as Casey Jones, I really don't feel this movie is good enough to see in the theater, so I'm going to give this movie a C. I feel this movie is only good enough as a rental, and that's all I gotta say for the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, Out of the Shadows.